Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our webinar tonight featuring Michael Marshall. Before we get started, let me introduce myself and some of the other members of our team. Joining us from Las Vegas this evening is Jeanette Degner. Jeanette's one of the leading affiliate marketers in the United States and has been a member or faculty member of the Search Engine Academy since 2002. And she's also my partner in the Search Engine Academy up in Las Vegas. And then joining us from Muncie, Indiana, is Dave Evans. David is a member of our team and manages many of clients' PPC pay-per-click accounts such as AdWords. And then from Surprise, Arizona, we have Stephen Farino. Stephen works with us as our local search specialist. And then, of course, myself, Radar Roy Ryer, the president of SEO Training Southwest and of the Search Engine Academy Southwest. Tonight we have about 70 people that have signed up for tonight's webinar. So during Mike's presentation, if you have a question, please type it into the question box. We'll also keep an eye on the little chat box. If you want to type something into the chat area, please do. And any questions that you have to Mike, we'll certainly try to get them to him. The call is going to be it's actually for an hour, but we added an extra little 15 minutes to it because usually calls get a little long and lengthy when we start talking about some of these programs and tools. I first became acquainted with our featured guest speaker, Mike Marshall, back in 2004 after I began using one of his earlier tools, Theme Master. Mike Marshall is the owner of the Search Engine Academy of North Carolina, creator of 3 SEO tools for competitive intelligence, and consultant to small, mid-size, and Fortune 500 or 100 companies. He's also taught a required course on search engine technologies at the U.S. Patent Office with background in artificial intelligence, linguistics, and Russian. Some have asked if he works as a spy. Although he has eaten caviar with Russian cosmonauts, once has breakfast with the former head of the KGB, and was one time known to speak Russian with a Moscow accent. He professes never to have been a spy, though he will admit to having a lot of practice dodging bullets. Mike, thank you tonight for coming in and volunteering and talking about SEO recon. And Mike, it's yours, and take it away, my friend.
All right, thanks. So let's see. How do I get my screen sharing here? Aha! You did that.
I did that, Mike, so you should have the screen.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, it looks like it's going well now. So I'm going to spend most of the time talking about recon. I'm going to talk a little bit about Scout just to get started, because that's another tool in the suite, and it's pretty straightforward to go through. First, I want to give some background to this to the tool. The main goal of the tool is actually of each of the tools is to give you very key phrase specific guidelines for making your decisions and changes for optimizing your site. Rather than going with generic rules of thumb, this is designed to look at your competitive landscape and figure out for you, for those competitors and for that specific target key phrase, what you really need to do. And the purpose of that and the benefit is it actually minimizes your time in trial and error. If you go with a generic rule of thumb list, you'll find yourself generally tweaking from month to month for about 3 or 4 months until you get it just right. And when you're done, it rarely looks like what you started with that generic rule of thumb list. So what this does is out of the gate, you start focusing on the right SEO factors in the right way so you don't lose the opportunity costs and that you save time and money in getting to your desired goal. So with that, I'm actually going to look at Scout and show you how that works. Basically, what Scout is a tool to help you have content that is more relevant to your target key phrase. What it does is the interface here, you enter a key phrase. So here, for example, I've got the key phrase iPod apps. You choose a language. It's got about 11 or so languages to choose from, and you put in a page to score. And what this is going to do is take this URL and score it for the key phrase iPad apps. It'll give you a score from 0 to 100, telling you how relevant your copy is to that key phrase. What happens here is the search engine looks at your target key phrase and its placement in the page, obviously, but it also looks for the rest of your copy and whether or not it's really relevant to that key phrase. So it's looking for secondary terms, supporting terms that build a good context for your key phrase. A lot of people call this theming. And so what you have is two things that you have to look at. The search engine is using obviously some fancy natural language processing to figure out what terms are related and which ones aren't. But it's also looking at it competitively. So it's going to look at your competitive landscape and figure out how are your competitors supporting their target key phrases in the copy. And what this tool does is it does both of those. It has the natural language processing and it analyzes your competitors, and it gives you a score comparing you to your competitors. So here, this thermometer looking thing on the far right, this is where you get your score from 0 to 100 for that particular URL. So you have this red arrow here that indicates the lowest score that anybody in this competitive landscape receive, and the competitive landscape is looking at the top 100 competitors for that key phrase in Google. And you have this orange arrow in the middle. That's the indicator of pretty much the median or middle score that anyone got. And then the green arrow is the highest score that anyone received. And so your score for this particular URL is 87. This blue mark here indicates where you are. And what you want to do is make sure that you're in between the orange and the green and as close to the green as possible. You achieve that by having enough of the right combination of supporting terms. And that's what this list is here for. It lists from most relevant to least relevant, thousands of terms here to choose from. And what happens is when you put in a URL, put your HTML code here, and what it will highlight for you is words that are highlighted in red will indicate any copy, any word that's missing from your copy. So as you add some of these terms going from top to bottom, the ones that are in red that you're missing that are important, then your theme score or your relevant score will go up. And as you add that, you can actually press an update score button here, and then you'll see your numbers go up or go down based on what words you put in and what words you take out. So that's basically how it works. In the key phrase, put in a URL, gives you a score, and then tells you the supporting terms that you need to add to improve your score so that you can fall within the orange and green arrows here to get a better score. Now there are three things that happen when you start treating your copy with these supporting terms. One is you'll boost your relevance for your copy for that target key phrase, which is going to help you in SEO. The other thing that this is often used for is people will use it to increase their quality score with PPC. So they'll take their landing pages and they'll add some supporting terms to boost their relevance, and what they end up doing is increasing their quality score and decreasing their cost. A third thing that people use this for is they'll treat their copy with the supporting terms, increase the relevance, and if they've got pages where they have AdSense matches on the page, what they tend to find is that as their copy increases in relevance to a particular target key phrases, they get better matching Google AdSense ads, which often tend to pay out more as well. So it's good for SEO, good for PPC, good for AdSense. And it's pretty straightforward to use, as I explained before. And that's what Scout does. It doesn't use anything like a dictionary or thesaurus that's hard-coded in the background. It's really geared dynamically for each key phrase in that competitive landscape, which sets it apart from some other theme-based approaches or tools. So I'm going to minimize this. I'll keep it there in case we have questions about it later when it comes